That don't feel good.
Doesn't look good. I was going to say, do you mind if we say it doesn't look good?
We made it to Tasmania.
I literally was having like a panic attack just watching that. I was like,
that was the worst. That was absolutely terrifying. Oh, that's the worst track I've ever done in my life. After we camped at Zeehan last night, we've started heading towards the town of Strawn, I think it is. On the way there, you got the Henty Dunes. It's a little track through the sand dunes, and then which are now comes down to the Henty River here. Just has been pretty nice, freshen up. And then from there, the track heads up into the dunes. I think you got some few dunes to tackle before you come back out on the main road. And then after we come out of the dune track, we'll come down here. We may check out this drive, there's an ocean drive down here to the edge of the river mouth. We may do that. We'll see how we go for time. They'll head up through to Queenstown. You got the Mount McCall track here, which I don't think would do. It takes too long. Says you need a permit, but looks too far out of the way. We got the Mount Huxley track up here out the back of Queenstown, which we may end up doing that. And we'll probably camp over here tonight on this lake somewhere, one of these campsites. Hit this Henty Dunes track now and see how we go. The drive through Henty Dunes isn't super long, but it's awesome fun out there. It's just a maze of tracks through the dune system, and then you got some big open areas and sand dunes you can have a crack at as well. But just be warned, some of those tight tracks in between the big open areas are just so overgrown with bush, and we've never had our cars so scratched in our life. They're just literally getting flogged through there. You could definitely spend a few hours out there exploring all the side tracks, having a play in the dunes, but we were keen to get through to Queenstown, so we kind of fast-tracked our way through the area, had a bit of a play, and then headed out the exit out the other side. Back out of the sand dunes there. It wasn't a super long drive. I think it's only from where you come on, you go through the sand track down to the river, out into the dunes, back out. It's only like a 9-10k run. Still pretty fun, like sort of fanging it around the dunes out there though. You know, some good up and down dune climbs, nothing really too steep out there. It is a never-ending mission of airing down and airing up your tyres. I went down to 14, now I got to pump them back up to like high 30s, mid 30s. I just go to for got about 50-60 k's back on the main road, and then we're down again after. I really want to get an in-car mounted air compressor and put it under my seat or something, maybe like one of those twin ARB ones, but I'll work something out eventually rather than constantly getting this in, out, in, out, in, out. After we came out of those Henty Dunes, we went through the town of Strawn, and from there we made our way through to Queenstown. Oh, actually got a decent climb here in front of us. And in Queenstown, you come south out of Queenstown, is a couple of k's through town, you turn left at the golf course, And you take the track that heads up towards Mount Huxley.
Did you say in Queenstown you come out of Queenstown?
Yeah.
Why did you say that?
I don't know. And we're taking on the Mount Huxley track now, which is a pretty awesome track. Nothing too hard, but some first gear low range steep little climbs, or just nice easy going. You'd sort of everything we've done so far. You could do any four-wheel drive at low range, but just got spectacular views of these mountain ranges all around you. So yeah, it's only a one-way track in and out. We're a bit over halfway now, and yeah, we're just heading out for a look. I think you get a look out over Lake Burberry or something at the end, and out over all the mountains. So head out here and then we'll come back later on. I reckon the Mount Huxley track is a great place for those who are maybe new to four-wheel driving, don't have a highly modified four-wheel drive. I don't really think you need much at all out there. Definitely need low range, but other than that, you'll pretty much get any sort of stock four-wheel drive through there with a little bit of navigating. And just a great place to come out, explore, have a bit of fun in your four-wheel drive without anything too hard or stressful, and just take in some of those absolutely awesome views out over the mountain ranges. How's some of these views out around you? It's just these massive mountain ranges, so cool. We got to pull up here and have a rest for a while. Pretty spectacular view from up here, these mountains. The track came to a dead end. We continued all the way to the end, and you start to get views out the lake as you come down, and then it just ends in like the middle of the bush down there, absolutely nothing. So we come back about a third of the track, and then pulled up at the base of Mount Huxley, which is that one there. So that is the Mount Huxley there. I think it's nearly about 900 and something above sea level. But yeah, chill here for a bit. We'll come back up here so we get this view as we soak it all in for a little while.
I'm walking back to Australia.
Okay, from Tasmania back to Australia.
Yeah, I need to swim a bit, but it's not that far. It's only like a couple of days.
Yeah, perfect. Good idea. After a little bit of discussing, we decided it was getting late in the day and we couldn't pass up the opportunity to camp at this spectacular spot. As the sun started to go down and those mountains lit up all around us, we began to realise how lucky we were to have scored this place all to ourselves.
I never thought someone would take advantage, and I refuse every last milligram of bitterness. Yeah, I know that I'll probably always mess it up. Why can I ever get enough? No, I don't wanna be hopeless. I just need your love. It's what my gut tells me.
Alright, it's the next day after we camped at that pretty spectacular spot up on the ranges there, up above Queenstown on that Mount Huxley Track. We came back down off that through Queenstown, and then we're heading in a Hobart direction from Queenstown. We just stopped at Lake Burberry, I think it is Burberry for a swim, which is quite nice. It's always good to have a swim and freshen up, cool down. Had some lunch there. Quite smoky today as well. There's a heap of smoke around. I'm not sure where that's coming from. Maybe from the Victorian high country fires, which are just absolutely like massive and destructive up there in recent times. So it could be coming from that, because I know they were spreading through to Tassie. There's not really any fires around down here. But yeah, we're cruising along this road. There's a few different sites to see and check out as we head along this road. We're heading through to Mount Field National Park for the night tonight. So we'll just sort of stop in and see things on the way and see what there is to do. Enjoy the day, I guess. Spotted the turn off to Nelson Falls on our drives. Thought I'd come for a quick walk out here. It says it's only a 20-minute return walk, and it's really nice out here in the rainforest. Beautiful creek flowing through it all. Wow, check it out. That's pretty cool. That's a super cool waterfall. 35 meters in height, they said it was. It just kind of trickles down everywhere, all over the sides. Hey Kai, the walk's only 3 to 5 days. Is that alright?
You want me to bring you a couple of peanuts for tomorrow, Malachi?
Yeah. Hey, why is it saying that?
That's
How long it takes.
3 to 5 days. You bring your swag and sleeping bag?
Seriously, why does it say 3 to 5 days?
Well, that's a big walk up over the mountain. Wow, look at that bridge. That is pretty cool. This is the start of the Frenchman's Cap walking trail.
Yeah,
The
it's
swinging bridge,
yeah. They put it in a good spot behind that sign. Very good spot.
where no one can see it. One person on the bridge at a time, so let's all go on it. We should have brought our swimmers down.
Yeah.
Have a look at this for water.
You go across. You'll be right. Pa's only lied and you're a kid. This is the next stop on today's drive, the Frenchman's Cap walking trail. Some massive hike out into the mountains, but you can just walk down 5 minutes at the start of the track of the river here. You got a cool swinging bridge across, and I think we're gonna go for a swim because it's quite hot today. 150 kilos. How much do you weigh? Oh, you do a dive into the water. How nice does that water look down there? Pa's heading in for a swim. Whoa.
How much do you weigh?
Like 80 kilos. That's a nice river. This bridge is pretty wobbly. Wobble, 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 wobble. Oh, how nice is this river?
It is.
We didn't end up getting as far as we wanted today. We're planning on getting through to the Mount Field National Park. We're about halfway between there and Queenstown. Arrived at this pretty nice lake at about 5:30, and we thought that'll do us for the day. We've got an awesome spot here on the edge of the lake. It just the good thing about Tassie is like there's so many campsites everywhere, sort of free camps. This one's an actual marked campsite. They got toilets up there, edge of the lake. Quite a few campsites all around the lake. When we got to Mount Field National Park, we were planning on doing the Sawback Range track, but unfortunately it is closed from fires last summer. It's a pretty awesome track. Still a little bit disappointed about that, but that's alright. We got the fire going here. We got some tacos cooked up for dinner, Clyde's favourite. This is what I say with our trip 4-wheel drive camping plans. I just make it up day to day depending on where we get to and times, and everything always seems to take longer than we think, especially with filming.
I have a tip. Hire a cameraman.
Do you want to be my cameraman?
How much will you give me? 15.
No deal. That's where we left this morning, up there at Queenstown. Came all the way down, checked out what was it, Nelson Falls, which was nice, and that bridge and swim there at that Frenchman's Cap trail, started that trail, followed all the way through. We didn't really stop at any of that. The wall's meant to be cool, but that was closed. We came through there after 4, and we camped here on the edge of this lake. They seem to be scoring some pretty awesome campsites this trip, and every night the wind's been dropping off. With this trip, I don't think I planned any campsites or anywhere to camp. Every single night's just been a make it up, explore, find somewhere wherever you get to, that type of situation. That's what we normally end up doing, just find somewhere nice. It can be a bit of a mission. You don't see the hour or two of driving around trying to find a nice camp spot, but we always seem to score something good in the end. One thing I never actually mentioned in the build series of this car was spare tyre. So that's a 285/75 on a 16-inch rim, full spare, muddy, underneath. So a lot of people told me you won't fit that size underneath the Navara, but you will. I have the Ironman rear bar. I'm not sure if that makes any difference, but I let it down to about 5 psi. You leave a little bit in it because if you flatten it, like, you'll just get too much mud and crap up in the rim, whereas at 5 you probably still will get a bit, but it will at least help hold that rim seal. Let it down about 5 psi. Buy a big ass ratchet strap from Bunnings, and then you compress the tyre in together, and then that allows you to actually squish it up in there. So it's kind of up against the rear bar, and there's still a bit of room with the panhard rod there. Now, since I took that rear sway bar out, it is getting a little bit of scrub there, but minimal. I'll tell you what though, it makes a massive difference off-road. Those rear tyres have so much more flex, and it helps keep this car on the ground evenly. Another question I always get, I'm not sure how many, if I've said this before, I've probably said it a couple of times now, but the 285/75s, that's the 50mm Ironman lift, and they fit without any cutting or anything, and they don't scrub, and that's on the factory rims. On full lock, left hand down at reverse, they seem to, one of them just touches the inside of the chassis, maybe the other way as well, but I just noticed on full left hand down reverse it seems to just touch the inside of the chassis. But when you're off-roading, flexing, and that never really seems to touch at all. The odd time if you do a bit of a bump, you'll hear it just nick the guard in the front end. But generally, yeah, you can fit those tyres with that lift and not have an issue.
This is not a fair proposal, 'cause I ain't gotta do anything, and I can talk sweet like Felix.
The next day, we had a quick stop in at Mount Field National Park, where we checked out a couple of the waterfalls there, which is just absolutely amazing. Russell Falls being the first one, and Horseshoe Falls being the second one. The national park there is a great place, but just be prepared, there's a massive amount of tourists there. I think it's one of the most popular national parks in Tasmania. There's a massive amount there to see and do, but we didn't stay too long. We made our way towards Jeffrey's Trail out the back of Hobart. Let's make a start on this Jeffrey's Track now, which kind of bypasses Hobart over the back of the Mount Wellington range, but is coming in thundering and raining. Jeffrey's Trail is one of those tracks that you can kind of make as easy or as hard as you want. There's just so many different options and tracks out there, and plenty of side tracks to have a crack at as well. We just kind of stuck to the main one, headed through there. As per usual, keep in mind that it was reasonably dry when we were out there, but a lot of these places after a lot of rain are definitely going to get a whole lot more interesting. As we made our way through the track out there, the rain actually started to get heavier and heavier, and things were looking very wet. Now from Jeffrey's Trail you can head straight out the other side, but we decided to make the turn off onto White Timber Trail and have a crack at that. Turned off that Jeffrey's Trail right onto White Timber Trail we're on now. Coming through town, we came from up there at that Mountfield National Park, back out here in New Norfolk, into the town of Lachlan, and then you come out, and that's Jeffrey's Trail, which runs there, and then this White Timber Ridge is the one that runs the back out here into Judbury. I'm kind of using this book to help guide me as well, four-wheel drive tracks in Tassie. So yeah, we're on Jeffrey's Track and now we're on White Timber Trail. Just come along there and made that turn into here now. This one's White Timber Trail is classified as hard. This is one rocky, rough track, very slow going. You're lucky to get out of first gear low range, sometimes hit second and then your car's bouncing and whacking all over the place. Still not too bad a track though. There's been a couple little low range challenging sections, but nothing too hard yet. Beautiful area out here, but you got all these, you kind of like one-way track slicing between all these like flowers and bushes. You got berries all over and everything, and then you got these massive tall timbers the whole way up. That rain came down heavy for about 20 minutes and then it sort of passed through, and now back to near sunshine again. Whether or not it comes back later, I'm not too sure, but we're going to pull up here for a bit, have a bit of a quick rest and snack, and then we'll keep tackling this track and see what else is to come. There's only a couple of k's through that track and all of a sudden it turned into like a main forestry gravelly dirt road. Then we're like second gear high range, just 40-50 k's out of here, so we're nearly out of this track. We're starting to back off down the mountain now and we're heading in towards Judbury, whatever it is. But found a nice little creek here running through the mountains. Water looks beautiful. I'm sure it'll be absolutely freezing, but we'll have a swim anyway. It's not very deep. Nah. dead bit of burnt tree log branch here at the back of camp, so I'm just going to cut that up for some firewood tonight rather than muck around trying to find little bits of sticks all night. This is my new crash pad chainsaw bag as well that I keep the chainsaw in on the roof, and it works bloody brilliantly because the problem I had with the old hard case was it's a lot bigger and bulkier, and no matter how hard you tie it down it still seems to slide around everywhere, whereas this is like a nice case. You can sort of jam it, squish it in between things, and it ties down a whole lot easier, and it doesn't slide around your roof everywhere. It's still got like a PVC lining, so it still keeps all the water out, heaps of room in here. Like I keep fuel, bar oil, I keep a couple of spare chains, I keep some tools, a few rags in here. I've been taping this so it sits upright. When I put the chainsaw, it sits upright in the bag because the seal seems to have gone on this container, and now it leaks if I lay it down. It was really good, but now something's happened in that seal. The rubber seems to have gone and it leaks, so I need to get a new one, but just tie it upright for the moment. We'll pick up everyone else's rubbish here. Smart.
Smart.
Made it to our camp here, about 10-15 k's out into the bush from where we came out of Judbury. Actually, when I came to Tassie 3 years ago, we drove past this spot out the bush, and I thought, oh, there's a nice spot to camp. And so when we came out, I thought, oh, I remember that spot not too far away. So we came back out here and found a beautiful spot here on the almighty Huon River. Next to this hut here as well. Looks like people camp here pretty regularly, but we're going to get everything all set up and settle in here for the night. Should be good. That storm that came in this afternoon was sort of meant to hang around all night, and then they're talking showers in the morning, but we're back to blue skies at the moment. It's been a nice afternoon. Still set my awning up in case it does come in raining, because Tassie weather seems to change very rapidly. So I've got the awning set up, and then Dad's going to actually put his swag in underneath the shed hut awning thing there. That's how we came out of Judbury here. And then we've headed out into this area onto the Huon River here. I won't give away the exact location of this spot because half the fun's adventuring, exploring and finding these places yourself. That's how I find a lot of these places. What you don't see off camera is two or three, there's days where there's 2 or 3 hours of us driving down dead end tracks and in the middle of nowhere and getting a bit cranky and everything else, but it's all part of the fun, you have to take the good with the bad. People always ask me if they can have coordinates for places. I do not keep coordinates. It's all in my head. I'm not like lying saying, oh no, just because I don't want to give it to you. Like, I honestly don't keep coordinates for places. And a lot of these places would be a nightmare to try and explain how to get to. Like left, right, up, down, backwards, forward. Yeah, this bush track, then that bush track, and then left and right. And like I'll be there half hour trying to work out how to explain how to get to a place, and a lot of the time, like, I can't even remember looking at a map. Like, I just know how to get there in my head. Anyways, tonight is movie night, watching Jumanji in bed. Got the big Huon River in the background there. We got a little solar lamp set up and the movie ready to go. That's it for tonight.